Yeah, MLB Data Warehouse. Where the spreadsheets flow and the takes get spicy. John, Tim, Doc, let's go. Welcome to the warehouse, stat stacked to the ceilings. Exit below's flying, launch angles got a feeling. Tim in the corner with the prospect report. Reading fan graphs, blurbs like it's soft core sport. Junior and double A, Tim's losing.
We're back. Friday waivers. It's been like a month, a couple of vacations. John Allen's back. How we doing?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Good.
Survived vacation?
Yes. It's 2 weeks. So I work 1 week, but we're in New Jersey for 2 whole weeks, which is a lot.
Nice.
But good for the kids and stuff. One person while I was gone did Twitter message me like, "Hey, where did the Waiver podcast go?" So that's
Our
good.
fan.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, at least one person was like, "Wait, where are these podcasts?" But there's at least 300 people typically that listen. So I don't know, what's a big podcast? That's not big, but that's enough to keep doing it, right? I mean,
it is definitely enough for me to keep doing.
Yeah. I mean, I had a Pirates blog in 2012. I actually had a little Twitter thread about it yesterday afternoon. I went to the Wayback Machine and went back to it was like 2012, I think. I found some Internet Archive shots of mickeffect.com. It was this Pirates blog as I got my pirate hat on. And that was like, it was hard to podcast back then because the internet was super slow and it would take like an hour to upload. Forget about video. You didn't even attempt it. That wouldn't even been possible, but I'm sure I had like a dozen listeners or something back then, but we're doing pretty good. So waivers this week. John, we've got the article out at least, and you've done most of the work, so we appreciate that. But first, I wanted to talk about this NFBC team I have. It's a pretty big contest, and I was really hoping to nail it and to cash top 2 out of the 12. It's 12-team league, NFBC online championship. And there's a work message like a Friday afternoon, and we're gonna ignore that. Some guy named Luis. 12 teams. Let's start with the good news here. The pitching staff, I started, this draft went perfectly for me. I got Ellie in the first round, and then I think I went back with Kyle Tucker in the second round. He fell. And then I still ended up with Yamamoto and DeGrom. And then I was on Mizurowski and Ashcraft. I mean, you can't run it out much better than Yamamoto, DeGrom, Mizurowski, Ashcraft this year, right? I mean, that was excellent.
Good foursome.
Because it was either Yuri or Mizurowski for me in every draft. And the home league draft was the next day. I took Yuri over Mizurowski in that one. And Clint, stupid ass Clint, everybody, the longtime listeners know about S.A. Clint. Mm-hmm. He ended up with Mizurowski, and he's benefiting from that until his arm falls off, at least. But this team, I have him. Even Aroldis Chapman is having a great season. The rest of it, Tolley, I spent a bunch of fab money on him. Lodolo's been a disaster. Probably should do something about that this weekend. Ursig, I spent a lot of money on after the first week, and I think he's I haven't been paying the closest attention, but I don't think he's doing super well. Has he lost his job yet?
He has more or less lost his job, so yes, you can move on from that.
Trevor McGill doesn't have a lot of saves. So I guess even the good news part of this isn't all that good news. Let's see who's on my bench. But this is coming. We're going to get to the waiver part of this. I have Mick Abel, Emerson Hancock, Jack Flaherty, and Trevor Rogers on the bench. So I should probably look for another closer, although they're tough to come by in this. Anyway, the offense is the problem. As I said, Ellie was my first bat. And this is a terrible offense. I'm tied for last. A couple of good moves, getting Carson Benj. That's been nice. Just recently added Royce Lewis, Langford, and Seager. Just getting back. I actually added Seager 2 weeks ago on Fab. Someone dropped Corey Seager in a 12-team league. Would you have ever done that?
I am contemplating that right now.
Oh man!
But then again, I have. Luckily, I've gotten Otto Lopez off the wires.
Yeah.
And he's been amazing. So, and Seager, the back problem. I mean, he is traditionally a person who gets hurt. And this back problem is not going to get fixed anytime soon. So
this thing's a concussion, right? This new one. So he shouldn't even be out that long. It's like this 7-day. But yeah, the back thing will probably come back. I don't know. He's had multiple sports hernia surgeries or something. I don't know much about that. It sounds rough, but I had to do it. I had to pounce on him because I just needed the offense so bad. So I kind of had to take the shot. But this isn't the worst offense in the world, I don't think. I mean, with Ellie comes back and if Seager gets going, I think I could still make a run at this. So I wanted to look at
Ellie will make a big difference, that's for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to look at the waiver wire guys here. And this is a super competitive league. It's like a $350 entry, which I didn't have to pay. Shout out to me. Got it comped. So I guess that should mean I shouldn't be too worried about it. But like, what's the payout is big if we can get this into second place. But here's the options. I don't know. I guess I don't really need to spend. I've spent a lot of my fab. I made big splashes on Seager, Tolley, and Ursig.
And if you pick somebody up and they're on the IL, you have to leave them in your lineup.
Yeah, you can put them on the bench. There is a bench, but you can't stash them and pick up another guy in their place.
Okay.
And I get Yainer Diaz. My catcher there was Jimmy Crooks, which hasn't worked out. Basayo is nice, but Yainer Diaz is back now, so I can probably move on from Crooks. But
Kyle Teal.
At a time, is there anybody here that
Kyle Teal? I'm looking at this list and I'm like, Kyle Teal is the guy I want. He's in a rehab assignment now. Already at Charlotte, AAA. He should be back by the end of the month. So that is a guy I would definitely be thinking about picking up. And I don't know what my problem is this year. I've gotten way too many White Sox on a lot of my teams. Chase Mydroth, I don't know what you had in the middle infield. I think you had the second baseman for the Phillies, maybe.
It's Seager, Stott, middle, Semien. Yeah. I think Semien's going to come around at some point and be like half decent, but I guess he's not really a 12-team guy even when he's getting back. Well, I picked up Royce Lewis. That's on a middle infielder, but yeah, it's ugly. It's Stott, Seager, and Semien right now.
I think maybe in the short term, Chase Mydroth might be interesting, especially as a help to your batting average, which this is a batting average league, so that's a little difficult. I mean, you know better than I as to whether Nick Gonzalez has much of a lifespan as a starter for the Pirates, but obviously he's been at least carrying the batting average torch.
Yeah, he probably doesn't because, Connor Griffin's probably going to DH when he comes back. So I get.
Oh, really?
I think that's what they're saying because he might need elbow surgery. Like with Griffin, he was like a pitcher in high school, and he was in high school like 6 weeks ago. It's not. It's crazy to say this guy had an elbow. He was a pitcher in high school, therefore that still means something. But Connor Griffin was in high school seriously 2 years ago or whatever it was. So his elbow might be kind of jacked up from that, and it was like some kind of elbow ligament thing. So I think he's going to DH. I don't know if he can really throw. So that would put Gonzalez to keep Triolo at short, Gonzalez at third. Gonzalez, I wouldn't have to talk about the Pirates over it, but he has ruined at least 3 games with his third base defense. I mean, just errors in the worst possible times. I know that not all errors are created equal, and it's kind of random when they happen, but he has made some in really rough spots.
Well, and he's a guy that was a second baseman in college and probably shouldn't play anywhere other than second base unless it's first base.
And Brandon Lau is there. And the Pirates did not build this team for defense, and they're suffering I was all about it. It's like when they were adding these guys, Lau, O'Hearn, like these bad defenders and all this stuff. O'Neal Cruz in center, that's a disaster. Brian Reynolds, he's saved like 3 home runs over the wall recently, but whatever. Those are actually kind of easy catches to make, to be honest. Like robbing a home run is probably a little bit overrated. Like if you get back there, you just kind of have to jump up and reach. Like it's probably not as hard as it would seem, but it's the plays that that don't look like bad plays. Like when a ball just a liner to the gap and it just falls in and it looks like the guy had no chance, but in reality they got like a terrible jump and stuff you don't really notice. But Gonzalez, I think will continue to play because he is hitting, but got 2 home runs and I don't know, not too many steals either. But
yeah, I think the key for you is going to be looking at your categories and where you are and how far you need to get to the next spot or 2 up on offense. Maybe you have options here. I mean, Swanson would be all right if you didn't care about batting average. If you weren't going to go anywhere in batting average, he's going to give you some home runs. He's going to give you some stolen bases, but his batting average is going to kill you. So
he's got to be better.
But if you're already in a place where batting average is not any good, on the other hand, if you need batting average, then maybe a guy like Brendan Donovan, who hopefully will be back soon, is going to be hitting at the top of a pretty good lineup now and is going to get you batting average.
And there's probably some names here that this is sorted by owned. And in NFBC, the players, you can't add them until they played a game in the majors this year. And that's what I'm not very good at. I don't spend it. I'm spending all my free time on the content side of this and tools and stuff. So I don't really manage these teams like I should. I should probably have you or someone else that wants to just manage these teams for me, man. Like I'm people would do that. People like that stuff. So maybe I just should ask for some help, but it might be too late. I don't know. We're halfway through the season, and I'm in 7th, and we need to get to 2nd to at least to cash. But Kyle Teal, okay, because right now my second catcher would be, I guess, Yainer Diaz, and that's been a disaster. Teal's better than him, so I'll go after him, but pretty short on money. We should have a section of this. I've been thinking about doing an article called the Call Up Corner that looks at these minor league guys that have just gotten called up, because that's a situation like if somebody just made their first major league game of the year on Tuesday, they would be eligible to be picked up this Sunday, but they wouldn't be on this list because they'd be 0% owned because no one could have them yet. So this isn't the best way to do it, but yeah, if you or someone else listening wants to help me out with managing this team, I should have asked 3 months ago, I guess. You know? That'd be good. But moving on from that, we'll see. Maybe we'll make that a little bit of a part. It would have been fun to track that the whole season and just make this part of the show. I do think people actually kind of are very interested. Every time I like tweet about a trade that was made in my league or moves I made, it seems like people actually care about that because they kind of like to see what other people are doing, and they view me as like someone who knows what they're doing really well. And it's just like totally not true. I'm terrible at this. Like I don't win fantasy leagues. I just like play an expert on the internet, right? But SP Planner app for paid subscribers. You open up the app. It's the first page that'll populate there. This will help you with your upcoming pitcher streamer decisions and stuff. And Hunter is having this nice 2 article a week thing where he'll look at every day. Every Wednesday, an article will come out. He'll look at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the pitchers. It starts and sits. So it says these guys are automatic starts. These guys are fringy. Bench these guys. So that'll help a lot too. But every day this gets refreshed and you paid subscribers can go look at that. There's a lot more to it than what I'm showing here. But what this is the next 10 days under 50% owned start grades. So Griffin Jax is here. And I think I did have him on the list, but Jax is going to get to Washington and Kansas City twice, apparently, if this goes off. One little ditty thing, you know, if they skip a day or do a bullpen game, that'll push him back. But Washington, KC looks pretty good. What do you think on Griffin Jax? He's on the list, but we'll just talk about him now since he's at the top here.
Yeah, I mean, he's moving from a reliever spot last year into the starting rotation for Tampa Bay. He's been there most of the year after he failed as their closer to begin the season. So
yeah,
he is usually pretty good at home. So I do like those home matchups. I wouldn't want to probably throw him at Washington, but Washington at Tampa Bay sounds much better to me.
Washington's got to be totally fake, right? They can't really keep scoring runs like this. They have like one good hitter, right? It's just like James Wood, and then I'm disrespecting.
Abrams has had a really good season as well. Yeah, and he's like the world's smallest cleanup hitter.
Yeah, yeah, sure. But he's got to doesn't he get really bored of playing baseball every like August and then start sucking again? You know, like that'll happen.
Well, I mean, they've been talking about trading him all year, so I how much is he really dedicated to the team? We'll see. I don't know.
It's got to stay away from the casinos. Remember that a couple of years ago? He was stayed
out.
Was
that him?
Yeah. Stayed out all night.
He's no Michael Jordan.
Someone saw him at the casino at like 5 a.m. in DC, and they had a game at 11:30 that morning. It's like, bro, I don't know. Maybe he was just there. Maybe he was just there for coffee, like really trying to.
Exactly, the best coffee in town.
Jack's last 6 starts has a 15% K to walk, K minus walk rate, 15.4% swinging strike rate. He's thrown. The problem is his max pitch count is 72, so he's been pulled in the 60s more often than not. At home, 30% K rate, really good at home. He's gotten hit hard. 21% barrel allowed. We've been talking a lot about that in the daily notes. That stuff is random. It regresses. So that's another reason I like him, because his high ERA is mostly based on just him giving up home runs and barrels, and that stuff is pretty random. And he's been on the negative side of that, so it should get better in that regard. But at the same time, like if they're only going to let him throw 75 pitches max, it's hard to really do much with that. Zebby Matthews here, home start against the Rockies. The Rockies have been kind of good.
They haven't been the road Rockies that they were last year, where you could definitely get them out there and watch your guy throw it to a hitter. But
you could have started anybody against them last year, but now you got to be a little more careful.
Yeah, they have a little more depth. They're bringing up some guys. Cole Carrick, for instance, would be one of the new guys they brought up. And some of the guys they signed in the offseason, not surprisingly, the former architect of the Moneyball has figured out how to pick up guys like TJ Rumfeld and Troy Johnson and make them into something.
Maybe that's the answer. Yeah, maybe that. I mean, it makes sense that was obviously going to improve things because they were like doing nothing analytically. They didn't even have like, I don't know if the reports are true, but they like didn't even have the advanced cameras and stuff or something. There was some story about that. Like they didn't even invest in the analytics stuff, which would seem crazy because that stuff's not like, that'd be too much for me to buy. Like I'm not going to buy a Hawkeye to go in my backyard and track my kids' wiffle ball, horizontal movement. But the Colorado Rockies, they're poor.
It's kind of your job.
Right. Yeah. And even a poor team has like, I don't know, tens of millions of dollars just like to spend on operations, at least. Ian Seymour here, he threw 72 pitches last time. So they're kind of getting him back into the rotation. Any interest in him? Not great stuff, but kind of a lefty. He's the guy that doesn't look at the batter when he throws, but I'm going to pull up a picture of that. Do you have any thoughts on Ian Seymour?
Ian Seymour, definitely a guy that is matchup dependent. That's going to draw my interest in terms of who he's going against. Again, you got Washington, which it's hard to tell what you're going to get out of the Nationals this year. They are definitely hitting better than most people expected, but they do have dips in the lineup. Catcher can be a black hole for them. They brought Dylan Cruz back up from the minors. He has not looked good. You got James Wood at the top. You got Abrams in the middle, and a little bit here and there that happens occasionally, but not a whole lot. So it's not a lineup that should scare you. But Seymour is a guy who spent a lot of time in AAA, finally up, it would appear, for good now with Tampa Bay, and brings in an interesting mix.
He's got good changeups. These lefties always seem to, but the lefties can overperform if that's not the right word for it. But look at Ian Seymour. I investigated this on February 3rd, and the guy doesn't look. If you look at his MLB page, maybe it's changed now since he's in the majors, but there's several pictures of him just not looking anywhere near the plate when he throws the ball. I mean, that's a strategy right there. Here's a close up. They got to fix that, right? I can only share up to 10 images at once. Hold on, I got one more.
I mean, Fernando, was always looking at the sky before he brought it into the plate there for the Dodgers. So
this dude's about to let go of the ball though, and he is looking in the dugout. I mean, it's wild.
Very weird.
So maybe he started to look at the plate now, and he's getting more pitch count. Maybe that was it. They're like, until you can figure out how to watch where you're throwing, like you're going to be a reliever. But I think things are all right there. So. Let's throw this pick up. Sean Manaea, we'll talk about him in a minute, but he's an interesting guy. And then like Jack Perkins. I think we're going to talk about all these guys. One more that's not on the list, but Mick Abel, back next week, I think. Maybe one more rehab.
Fingers crossed.
And he was awesome. His last start, he had 10 strikeouts before the injury, and then he got hurt, and then he had another injury or some kind of flare-up or something, and it's been a while. But he's throwing is just as hard and striking out guys in the rehab, so the Twins could use him back. And I would jump on him, 42% owned. I think it's probably time to add him. Big upside there. We talked a lot about him before the season, obviously. But where's the shallow? Let's start with shallow pitchers. I put Sean Manaea here. It's hard to really ever feel great about him, but he's back in a traditional starter role and has been pretty good. What did I write here? Last was that 31 innings? He was kind of bulking, and now he's made 2 like traditional starts in a row. 3.19 ERA, 106 WHIP, 18% K- walk, and he's got the funky release point. He can go on runs. He's had a couple pretty nice seasons, especially his first season with the Mets. And I don't know what they've been doing with him, but he's back in a normal role now. Seems like a guy that you should consider.
Well, and he's had flashes, especially in the second half of the season, the second half of 2024, in fact, when I got very excited about him beginning last year after he finished strong there. So he seems to be a guy who gets better as the season goes along. But
yeah, maybe that's what the Mets are.
One of those heaters again.
Yeah. He's probably the number one guy that we're going to talk about here. It depends on your league. Obviously, there might be. This is just based on guys under 50% owned on CBS, and if you play in like a 10-team Yahoo league with some work colleagues or something like that, like there'll be better options. But we're trying to focus on guys that are actually available in 90% of leagues or something like that. Robert Gasser and Shane Drohan, I threw in a couple Brewers here because you got to upgrade the Brewers just because they keep doing weird things. Kyle Harrison's a stud somehow, and Logan Henderson at 5'1" is one of the best pitchers in the league when he can stay healthy, which he can't. But Robert Gasser, big pitch mix, lefty, kind of the type the Brewers seem to be able to do good things with. And Shane Drohan, really good sliders, looks pretty good early on here. He's a 27-year-old that's kind of getting his first run as a major league starter and looks pretty good so far. So do you like these two Brewers guys?
Both 27, both left-handers, both pretty much dependent on whether they're going to be throwing strikes or not. So both have battled their walk rates in the past. So both have had moments. I probably want Drohan more than Gasser at this point because I'm not really sure if Gasser's going to get back to being the guy he was before he had arm surgery a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Drohan has a 15.4% swinging strike rate on 214 four-seamers thrown so far. Just one homer on that pitch, 248 expected WOBA, a 22% ground ball rate. So that's getting hit in the air a lot. That'll cost him eventually. But a 3.6 JA ERA, which is pretty good. Slider is really nice as well. 111 stuff plus 21.5% swinging strike rate on the slider. So upside for Drohan there. You feel better about it if he were like 23 and it didn't take him all these years to get there. But I don't know. That's ageism, I guess.
27 isn't that old for pitchers, though, because they seem to.
Yeah. But shouldn't he have – how many guys like get going at 27 and keep it? Like if they were actually good, wouldn't they have done this a few years ago? I don't know.
Yeah, I would imagine that his long-term future is probably going to be in the bullpen, especially as a left-hander, lefty-on-lefty matchups.
Worked for Aaron Ashby, the league leader in wins. Just dominant there. He was a starter at first, but yeah, the Brewers have a thing for these lefties, and they keep needing help because Henderson, Woodruff keep getting hurt. Misiorowski, how many 104-mile-an-hour fastballs can you throw before something breaks? So.
Got to be quiet about that. I'm working out a trade right now for Misiorowski.
For him, you're the ultimate.
No, I'm getting rid of him on a team that
smart,
I have a team that's not very good, and we're looking at guys like DeVries and Josh Baez.
Okay, I hope that person doesn't listen to this podcast because
it's obvious they don't because he thinks I'm interested in some guys that I've already told people I'm not. So
so Misiorowski is this the biggest buy high in MLB fantasy baseball history right now?
I think it's a great time to deal him. I'm hoping to get rid of him before today's game because who knows?
Yes, Braves. That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna watch that one tonight if I can. You just can't. He started at 9. He started averaging like the first couple starts. He was averaging like 97, 98, and his velo. I tweeted it up. His velo has gone up. It's just like up. He's like, okay, you should probably reconsider this, bro. Like. Paul Skeens kind of seemed to figure this out, and it hasn't worked, I guess. But there is something to this. Like Hunter Green came in the league throwing 100, and then he dropped it, right? Like these guys have to realize if I want to actually not try to avoid surgery, which seems unlikely from the beginning for anybody, but these pitchers, the main goal for these guys has to be getting through those 4 or 5 years before they can get into the arbitration years and eventually unrestricted free agency to get the huge contract. So Misiorowski I bet he comes back down even tonight, right? Like he'll probably average 99 or something tonight. That would be, I don't know. I have no real reason to say that, but you just can't do what he did last time for long. So a good read there, in my opinion, try to get a big return from Misiorowski. You put on Javier Assad here. You're going to have to sell that one.
So obviously the Cubs are desperate for pitching of any sort at this point. Assad was a guy who's been a prospect for them, came up in 2022 and 2023. He was okay. And then he had a velo dip over the next 2 seasons. It looked like he was in trouble. And now all of a sudden in June, he's made 3 starts. He's gone 18 innings. He's given up 9 hits. He's only given up 2 runs and just 2 walks. And the key for him is being in control and getting soft contact, because he's not a strikeout guy. As you can see, 11, even in that good stretch, he's got 11 Ks over 18 innings. But he does have his velo back up to 93. I don't think this is a long-term investment, but at least he seems to be back in good luck. As you can see, that BABIP of 221 is pretty easy. They got to keep rolling him out there. So, I think if it's a decent matchup, I definitely like him because he is a guy who doesn't get hard contact. I mean, you look at his stats, he's never had a season above a 4 ERA, which is amazing given his lack of stuff.
Yeah, all right. I guess you made the case. I tried to pull up his matchups. It didn't work. I guess maybe he's projected to not be in the rotation every time. Sometimes he bulks.
Yeah, I mean, they're just doing crazy things there because they're mixing and matching as they go along. But Jimison Teon, obviously locked into a spot at this point.
Yeah, they've lost Cade Horton. They lost Cabrera for a little bit. Matt Boyd. Even
they were going to get him back. Lost him before he got back.
Even the prospects.
Jackson Wiggins.
He got hurt.
Is waiting to. I think might be making a start here soon. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Assad, yeah, that can work. Let's go to deep league pitchers. Scratch this one out. I put Matt Liberatore on here before yesterday. The curveball was doing so well, and he was getting strikeouts for like 3-4 weeks there, and then there's just been home run city the last 2 times. So
yeah, I'm not a guy that gets a lot of strikeouts generally. So yeah,
forget about that. But if you're in a 15-team league, points league or something, like he probably won't give up 5 homers in his next 2 starts like he has the last 2. You know, so. I don't know. I bought back. I guess I was fooled twice because I was kind of fooled by the spring, and then I was kind of fooled again. I even streamed him last week in my home league, which went terribly, but I was kind of desperate at the end of a week. Jack Perkins, 25% K rate, 8% walk rate. Back in the rotation. He had a really awesome year in AAA for the Athletics as a starter last year. They called him up. He made like a start or 2, and then they ended with him as a back of the bullpen guy. Mason Miller moved, and then they needed somebody at the back, and now he's back in the rotation. Looked pretty good against Pirates. I saw him. He's got some strikeout stuff. It's not a huge ceiling, and obviously the park. He's a fly ball-ish pitcher, so that could go pretty horribly. But you could do worse. 14% owned. I'd say that's a little bit too low.
Yeah, I mean, long term, I think he ends up being a closer type. He has that slider fastball combo that reeks of closer type. So. And obviously, as you put here, it's going to be difficult to start him at home. He is home again this week. So,
dude, they should. Have you watched? I'm sure you've watched some games in the Sacramento Sutter Health Park.
Yeah,
that wall in right field is like 4 feet high. What? Why would they do that?
I who knows what they're doing there. But
Someone's
they won't be there much longer.
Over.
Although it's going to be interesting when they finally move to Las Vegas, because this past week's Las Vegas events are definitely going to make people think like they're going to hit 100 home runs in like 5 weeks there. So but
that park, when it gets built, we shouldn't talk about it now. It's like a year and a half away at least. But that park's going to be at a lower elevation, and it's not the same park. I think some people thought, oh, this is where they're going to play.
Yeah, there are definitely people that thought that. No, they're not going to play.
It's going to be way different.
It'll be indoors. It'll be a little more controlled. Yeah,
probably like Arizona. Probably like kind of a neutral park factor. So,
yep.
There might be some value in drafting season ahead of the 2027 season or whenever they move there, because people might think, oh, can't have Athletics pitchers. Hopefully, they have a couple good ones. We should throw on Gage Jump. I think he's over 50% owned. I think he's 60, 70%, but he should be added if he's available. He's looked pretty good. So throw that in there. Jacob Webb, speculative saves. Yeah, Palencia just hit the IL.
Yeah, Webb is a guy who is 32. He's been on a bunch of different teams, usually a journeyman type, but he looked really good for the Rangers end of last year. Signed a contract with the Cubs this year. I think it's only a 1-year deal, but he's next guy up, so he's going to get some save opportunities. J.R.
Ritchie. He has been terrible, but you like the little buy. People might be a little bit too low.
Yeah, I think some people are definitely going to jump off that ship, especially after the pitching performance of this week. Gave up 5 runs, all earned in 5 innings. So, but with Strider on the IL, I think Richie's going to have to find a spot in the rotation for the Braves, unless they want to DFA and then re-sign Carlos Carrasco for like the 57th time this season. Yeah. And I think Richie long term, I mean, he's 20. He just turned. He'll be turning 23 next week. Still a very young pitcher. Doesn't have anything that's like dramatic. None of his pitches are like this is 60, 70 stuff. But they're all pretty good. He's usually in pretty good control, and that's been his biggest problem in the majors this year. Is that his control doesn't seem to have come up with him from AAA.
Yep. 2 more guys. Jared Jones. So he's 65, 70% owned. But he was dropped in my home league. It's the Rockies this weekend, so you don't want to do that. But I would be jumping on Jared Jones when the Pirates go back home. He's given up some home runs. He's just getting going. He's coming back from Tommy John, and then he had to make a start in Sacramento last week. He's been pretty bad, but the whiffs are there. The walk rate's not terrible. So I don't think I would let Jared Jones stay on waivers if he gets dropped, but that's probably not for most leagues. Do you agree there or anything to add?
Yeah, I think he's a guy that you are not going to get the best of Jared Jones this season, but next season I think you will see it again. It's usually going to take a little longer for these power pitcher guys to get it all the way back from Tommy John. So, yeah, he's a guy that from in a dynasty league, and I want to get somebody kind of thrown into a deal that maybe somebody's not that excited to have on their team. He could be that guy.
Yes, he probably needs to. He's thrown. I think he's thrown more changeups this year or something. Like his rookie year, he was all 4-seam slider, but he's got a changeup now. It's hard to really work on that when he's been mostly focused on getting healthy. But I agree with that. But even now, the strikeout upside seems like it's there. One more thing, Hunter Green. There are some leagues out there where you don't have IL slots, and he's just been there. But he rehabbed yesterday. It didn't show up on the dashboards because I guess it was against the ACL Reds complex league. Yeah. So I don't know, probably 4 or 5 rehab outings, you would think.
Yeah, although he was already up to 54 pitches yesterday, allegedly hit 101 on the gun. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously it's complex league. So
imagine being in the complex league as a hitter, and then Hunter Green shows up and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's the life of the complex league guys, though. I mean, you never know who you're going to face.
I had Hunter Green as a top 10 pitcher before the injury. So absolutely go at him right now. Pause the podcast or, I guess you can probably multitask. You don't have to pause it, but go at him if he's available. He's definitely a guy who could just be SP, top 5 SP. The Reds really shouldn't have much reason to limit him too much because there's only going to be 4 months left in the season once he gets back. July, August, September, 3 months. Yeah. So they can cram in as many innings there. So that should definitely be an ad if available, but it's probably a rare situation where you could actually get them. Shallow league hitters, I think these are all mine. Jung-Hoo Lee, I broke the rule big time here, 76% owned, but I started writing him. In my head, I was like, this guy's probably around 50%, and then it's 76%, but he is hitting 7,700,000, 750. He's just hitting everything lately. Not a lot of power, but the batting average is awesome, and that's not always easy to find.
Yeah, I apologize for that 76% number. I picked him up in a lot of leagues 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Someone in my home league is a 10-team league, but these people are really sharp. He's been gone for a long time. There's nothing available on waivers in a 10-team ESPN league with, there's only 260 players rostered in that league, and I still can't fix my team on waivers. That's how I won the league 5 times in the early years of it when we were all just in college, because I was the one paying the attention and no one else was. And now everybody's, you get to be an adult and you have kids and you have all this extra time to look at your fantasy team. You're not worried about meeting girls and stuff. So you focus on the fantasy team. So I haven't had much success there the last 2 years. My credibility is just shot, guys. I'm not good at fantasy baseball. I keep saying it, but please keep listening to the podcast. I'm decent at writing and I have some projections and stuff. So Cody Clemens, probably time. I mean, he keeps hitting good power. We talked about him even at the beginning of the season as a draft sleeper, and he's kind of shown up. I think he's playing pretty much every day.
Yeah, it's shocking how well he's getting to his power. Obviously, the Twins don't have any reason not to give him playing time. But we'll see. Maybe if they decide at the end of the season they want to see their young guys come up, and that could bring his playing time down. But I think right now he's an interesting ad.
You said that Dylan Cruz had been terrible since getting back in the majors, and that's true in the box score, but he does have a 265 expected batting average. I like the 9% barrel rate, 18% K rate mix, that duo for Dylan Cruz. Not a lot of guys can barrel the ball while striking out less than 20% of the time. So it's a good skill. He was the 2nd overall pick. It was legitimately a toss-up during that draft who the Pirates would take, him or Skeens. So it tells you something.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that at LSU was amazing. Thought he was going to be something. I guess I'm just burned by how he hasn't really turned into anything. And he seems, as you have here, maybe he's just more unlucky than not good at baseball. I can't believe he's not good at baseball, but he definitely feels unlucky. I don't know that he's ever going to get to the luck, though, because this is unlucky year after year after year. So it's a little odd. Yeah,
I'm just holding on to the fact that he doesn't strike out a lot and he hits the ball kind of hard, and
there's power speed there.
Yeah, speed. Yeah. The speed's probably his best attribute. well, we'll finish this and then I'll say what I was going to say. Andy Rodriguez, catcher, Pirates has traded Joey Bart, confirming that, if this was just a Pirates show, I would be excellent because I just know everything about Pirates. But Andy Rodriguez is legit, probably not like a 12-team league where you only have one starting catcher. He's not going to be a top 12 catcher or anything like that. But if you're in a 2-catcher league or a 15-team league, like this guy gets on base, he takes walks, he's hit 3 homers, he's barreling it up a little bit. He had a really nice minor league career hitting, and then a couple shoulder injuries. I think he's had multiple surgeries. It's been kind of unlucky injury-wise for him. But he's going to be the starter. I think Henry Davis is going to stay on the team. He's going to catch Paul Skeens every time and probably one more time. But I think Endy's going to start 60% of the games. And the question with him ever wasn't that he wasn't a very good hitter. We always thought he could be like a league average-ish hitter. It's just like, was the defense good enough? And then the injuries kept happening. But it looks like it might be ND time, and he's done well so far, and he's going to play more for sure. So I kind of like that if you're looking for a catcher. But to also add Kyle Teal, we already talked about him. He would be he'd probably the priority catcher add right now if you're looking, if he's available, getting on, could see him next week back in the White Sox lineup. Another one here in the deep league, Joe Mack, excellent defensive catcher, and he's hitting enough homers. OPS is above 1, or at least it was when I wrote this in June. So he's hitting enough to stay in there. It's kind of believable that Joe Mack will be the Marlins' main guy there. And you can get a couple homers in there with regular playing time. So that works for that. Probably nothing special, but power and playing time. Sometimes that's all you need from a catcher.
Yeah, Joe Mack was my 3rd round pick in our FYPD, our MLB Data Warehouse League. And I was excited about him being a guy who I thought would be coming up because the defense is going to carry him with the Marlins while they didn't have any true defensive catchers otherwise. He's going to get you a little bit of power. I mean, this year I think is going to be a little rough. Next year I expect him to be a little better. And that year after that, 2028, I really think he's going to start to take off.
And he doesn't have to hit
much. You a batting average, but he will get you power.
Yeah, and he's going to stay in the lineup with the defense. That's the one nice thing about catcher. If you're a good defensive catcher, you'll play, and an elongated hitting slump won't cost him his job. So that's always good to see. I threw Andrew Vaughn in here. He's been hurt a little bit. He hasn't been that great, but he's looking better now. 579 slash line in June. That was probably missing a game or two. I think I wrote this on. No, it was yesterday. I don't know if the Brewers did the Brewers play yesterday. Yeah, they did. So it might be different now, but he can hit. He can hit a little bit. Typically, a lot of times he'll beat down against righties, so you got to keep an eye on that. This is deep league targets, though. Blaze Alexander, the numbers are great for him. It's just the question of, will the Orioles play him? He's played like 2/3 of the time lately, and he's always hitting 8th or 9th, but he's hitting the ball really well all year. Like, he's been hitting, and the Orioles could maybe use some help. I don't know where he plays, but he's looked pretty good.
He plays 3rd. He plays short. He plays 2nd. He can play in the outfield. He's a guy that can play a lot of different places. Obviously, the Orioles have had a lot of injuries on their infield. It's going to be interesting to see how the playing time plays out for them. They're a team that's in a really weird spot where it doesn't feel like they're challenging for the playoffs, but Are they buyers? Are they sellers? They traditionally have been buyers when they should have been sellers, so who knows?
Blaze is 27, just turned 27, looks like, so he's still not quite in the prime years. Matt Shaw, another guy, young, kind of a utility guy, plays all over the field, which helps him get in the lineup. He had an IL stint that ended on June 9th, and he's come back, and he's got a big old 429 batting average, 714 slug in June in all of 16 plate appearances, but you wrote him up here.
Yes. I've been a big Matt Shaw fan for a while. Saw him play in the Big Ten with Maryland. He first-round pick in 2023, a guy who looked like he was going to be the Cubs' third base solution for a long time when he started last season there, but things didn't go great in the beginning of the season. He bounced back in the second half of the season, and then they cut his legs out from underneath him by signing Alex Bregman this offseason. So playing time has not been quite there, but all of a sudden he's finding time in right field. Suzuki has struggled, and that has opened the door a little bit for Shaw. I am holding on to him, especially in dynasty spots, because I think the future is pretty bright for him.
Yeah, Shaw in 2024 in the minors had a 867 OPS, 21 homers, 31 stolen bases, and some parts, mostly AA, but AAA there. He made the opening day roster for the Cubs last year, and it didn't go very well. He had a 690 OPS last year, and then the injuries kind of derailed him this year. But I was into him at the beginning of the year just because he's like a talented guy that was high, like one of the top prospects in baseball, I think. And he's only got, like 600, not even 500 some plate appearances in the majors. So maybe he's making an adjustment, and it's been good. In June, 3 homers, 3 steals in 48 games. So we can do a little bit of both of those things. Esteury Ruiz, he's back. He's playing for the Marlins, and you put him here.
Yeah, I have ridden this roller coaster for a long time, as I put here. He was one of the main dudes who went from the Padres to the Brewers in the Josh Hader trade back in 2022. And this guy seems to just go places and get traded all the time. He landed with the Brewers after an amazing, as you can see there, 2022 season in the minors. The Brewers let him play 37 games in AAA, and then they had him out the door as they got involved in a 3-way trade with the Athletics and the Braves that involved Sean Murphy and William Contreras as the main players. Ruiz ended up in the Athletics, and then he goes ahead and leads the American League in stolen bases in 2023. This is going to be a star, right?
67 steals.
No, not a star. By the beginning of 2025, he's getting released by the Athletics, picked up by the Dodgers, and you think the Dodgers are going to make something out of this, right? No, they didn't make anything out of it, although he was amazing in AAA. Traded to the Marlins before the season. He is finally up, and if you look this past month, he has one of the biggest WRC pluses of anybody in all of baseball. Always a guy that's going to get you steals. Usually a guy that's going to strike out a little too much. As you can see there, 30% way out of control. If he can get back to that world of 20% on the K rate, he could be pretty decent and will definitely get you a lot of steals. I don't know that that's still in there, but he's only 27. It's still possible.
You can drop Chandler Simpson for him, maybe.
I don't know about
that. Chandler Simpson hasn't stolen a base.
What happened to the stolen bases? Yeah.
He hasn't done it since, I don't know.
It's like Fernando Tatis with home runs and Chandler Simpson with stolen bases. What's going on in this world?
Saw that coming. Esteury Ruiz has a 93% stolen base attempt rate, and that's not a tiny sample because he's gotten on base almost 35% of the time. So,
well, and he's a wonderful pinch runner. He is a wonderful no plate appearance, 1 run scored, 2 stolen bases. It's just
so that's the answer. Whenever you see these, so stolen base attempt rate for the stats guys that care about this, it's stolen base attempts divided by stolen base opportunities. An opportunity, it's my stat, I think. I don't think anybody else does it like this. I'm not saying it's the best way, but what it does is it adds your singles, your walks, and your hit by pitch. It tries to isolate how many times were you on first base. What it doesn't do is it doesn't get rid of those opportunities that weren't opportunities because there was someone on second base, right? Like, I guess I could probably do that in the code because the Baseball Savant data does tell you every pitch, is there someone on second? Like, I could do that. I just think this is just about as powerful as that. But the pinch running thing does jack this up because what you'll see with what was his name? Terrence Gore on the Royals. Mm-hmm. He had like 170% stolen base attempt rate one year. And you're like, how does that make any sense? And it's because he had stolen base attempts without getting a single walk or hit by pitch. So that juices it up. So that's what you're seeing here. But every year, his minimum here is 60. 2023, well, let's use that, 67%. So 2/3 of the time he was getting on first base, he was trying to steal second. And it's probably more than that because a lot of the times he didn't go was because there was someone on second. So yeah, he's trying to steal almost every time, 12 steals in 40 games. Plus, he's 1 home run away from his career high. He hit 5. Esteury Ruiz, we're talking about here. He hit 5 in 132 games in 2023, that big season you mentioned. He's got 4 already. He's got 2 in June, hitting 417. So yeah, that's looking kind of good. It's just like if he wasn't so bad the last couple of years, we would be all over him, but it's kind of hard to believe. But
and you don't really know what the Marlins are going to do with him. They're not super crowded in the outfield, especially now that they moved Stowers to first base, but who knows?
I think he's a crappy defender, right? That was kind of the issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was originally going to be a middle infielder. Like he came up as a shortstop, then they moved him to second base because, of course, he wasn't a shortstop. And then they were like, oh, maybe you're an outfielder. So, left field probably only. But again, he would be a best ball interesting guy because you don't have that's your lineup, so you don't have to worry about it whether he's in there or not. And then magically, it's 2 stolen bases.
Yeah,
who knew?
Right. Yeah, those kind of guys. Like I even said it with Simpson at the beginning of the year. Like you could almost start, if you're in a daily changes league, you can just still start Chandler Simpson, because you'll probably get a steal. You might even be more likely to get a steal when he doesn't start, because they'll put him on first exactly when they need a steal. So
Yep.
I guess I'd have to check the stats on that to bear that out. But before we get out of here, you can always go to the main dashboard. I'll actually just show this screenshot here. I need to I've been trying to do some more things in the different content of showing people the dashboard and how to use it to your advantage. But here's a good way, even in my process here of trying to come up with guys to give you, I'll do this a lot. There's a slider here in the ownership slider. So in this screenshot, I looked at the last 30 days game date filter in the top left. If you're not watching the video, I'll try to explain it, but turn the video on for a second. There's an ownership slider. You drop that down to 50%, and there's a plate appearance slider, put that up to something. So this is like last month, at least 50 plate appearances under 50% owned, as sorted by OPS. There's a lot of fake stuff in here, right? Like guys can get randomly hot and have a high OPS for over 50 plate appearances. Doesn't really mean a lot, but just some names to start your research with. Jonah Heim's been pretty good, part-time role, so not really a guy there. I see Astoria Ruiz here, Blaze Alexander, Andrew Vaughn. You can almost tell that this is how I build this, put these names on the paper, because we've talked about a lot of these guys. But Tristan Peters, Jock Peterson, Willie Castro, Jesus Sanchez, Colton Cowser, swinging decent bats here. Cowser, maybe I should consider in that league we were talking about. He's got 6 home runs over the last month. I think I could use him, and he's available in the OC league. So maybe I'll take a look there. You can do the same thing with pitchers, filter down to ownership. I won't show it here, but just use the dashboards for that. If you're a paid subscriber, hit the resource glossary, go check out those dashboards. Send me any questions you have about how to use it. It can be a little overwhelming, but man, there's a lot of good data in there. And the people that have really spent time on these dashboards and use them and know how to use them, they rave about them all the time. They're always telling me how helpful they are. So that's it. Anything else to add as we get out of here?
No, should be an interesting week, and I'll let you know what happens with my Miz trade.
Yes. Yeah, do that. We need to know. I need to see some people selling high on Miz Urowski. I don't think many people have the guts to do it, but you're a savvy veteran, and you know when the right time is.
Yeah, well, this team's not going. They're in 13th place in a 14-team league, so they're not going anywhere. It's an orphan team that I took over, so I'm not tied to anybody.
Okay. It's
a pitcher. If your pitcher's hot, you got to deal.
Yeah, especially if they haven't had the big surgery yet, which I don't think Mizurowski has. What do you think Mizurowski's average fastball velocity will be in 3 years? Is it down to 96 or I don't know. So he has the effective velocity thing going too. So even if he's throwing 96, it's more like 98, 99. So he by no means does he need to be throwing 103 or whatever, but that'll be fun to watch tonight. But
it is amazing stuff. So make sure you give me a big offer.
Yes, do that. All right, that's it. That's whatever it is. Week 13, I don't know what it is. It's June 19th. I know that for sure. Waiver wire targets. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Big Data Warehouse. Yeah, we bring the spree. Prospects, DFS, betting strategy. John's grumpy, Tim scouting like a man possessed. Doc drafting comeback stories better than the rest. But the tools are elite and the content's free. And your fantasy trophy gonna look prestigious. ML.